Here's what happened in July 2024 for the Seattle housing market in Greater King County. So what do you think? Did prices go up in July 2024 over 2023? Drop your prediction below if you think prices went up or down. What do you think happened? Put a comment right now. And be sure to stay tuned because by the end of this video, you're going to not only know if prices went up or down, but you're also going to know if we have more homes on the market and what exactly we're seeing in the King County real estate market this past month. Okay, so we're filming this today, August 6th, and the data for the July 2024 market just came out. So that's what we're talking about, and I'm gonna add a little bit of the more recent data here as well today. So when we're talking about what happened in July, the monthly market update is that high interest rates are still a problem, but the markets are improving. This comes from the Northwest Multiple Listing Service, which is the multiple listing service that we are subscribed to in King County and Seattle generally. So overall, what the MLS is reporting is that mortgage rates continue to drag home sales, discouraging potential buyers who face that higher rate if they take out a new mortgage, and potential sellers because they don't want to sell because they want to keep the mortgage that they have, presumably because it's already low. So that's dragging the number of sales. However, there are signs that in the market, it's loosening up and that the interest rates are declining or likely to decline even further in the next few months. And now that we're in August, we know this is true. We know this is absolutely true. As of today, according to Mortgage News Daily, the average 30-year fixed rate is down to 6.52%. That is one of the lowest numbers that we've seen, honestly, since February of this year, 2024, but also when it was at 6.34%, that was the lowest it's been since April of 2023. So over a year ago, that's the lowest it's been. So we can see today that that interest rate has dropped. Now, this is going to encourage a ton of new buyers to come into the market because they'll be able to afford more. For every 10th of a point that the interest rate drops, typically a buyer can afford so much more on their monthly payment because they now have that lower interest payment on the mortgage. So that will encourage buyers to come into the market, which will be a good thing for those sellers who are trying to sell right now. For buyers, that could be a little bit discouraging because there's going to be more competition. But there are a lot of houses already on the market. When we look at the stats here, home sales are up 5.9%, so more have sold this year than last year, and the active number of listings are actually up over 37%. So there are a ton of homes to choose from, which should be encouraging to buyers because they can then have a pick from what they want. You know, it's gone are the days when there were not enough houses, at least for right now, at least in July 2024, for all of the buyers that we have, because the number of listings is definitely up year over year. And when this report was out about July, the interest rate was at about 6.73% as of August 1st. So as you can see, that new data that we just talked about today is changing that. I want to know in the comments below, do you think the interest rate is going to continue to drop as we get into the rest of August and September? Tell me what your prediction is right now in the comments. You can either put an up or down arrow for the interest rate and what you think is going to happen. Okay, so here are some of the highlights from July 2024. There was a 37% increase in the total number of properties listed across the entire Northwest Multiple Listing Service as compared to July 2023. The number of homes for sale increased throughout Washington. And in July, we saw 5.9% increase in the number of closed sales. So we had over 37 new homes listed compared to last year, but we had almost 6% new closings as compared to last year as well. So more homes are hitting the market, but we're also seeing more sales close. Not quite at the same pace, closings versus new homes on the market, but we are seeing an increase in both. Now, here's what we're going to get to, what you predicted. If you haven't put your prediction in, you think that the prices are going to rise or have risen in July as compared to 2023, do that now. I'll give you a second to guess before I reveal it. Okay, so overall, the median price for homes and condos in July 2024 was up 5.7% across the entire Northwest Multiple Listing Service when compared to July 2023. So we are continuing to see prices rise. The median sales price was the highest in King County of all the counties, which was right at $880,000. That's no surprise here. We definitely see that King County is typically the highest median sales price. Now, I always say this, if you narrow into Seattle, that number is going to probably be closer to 9 or 950 in terms of the average or median price. Now, getting into our graphs, the active number of listings, these are all specifically for King County. So 2024, we are, of the past 5 years, we're the second highest in July. So 2022 was the only other year in the past 5 years that has outpaced the number of listings we have now. And this is why there are so many opportunities for buyers in the market right now, because there are a ton of homes to choose from. And there are negotiations happening because there are more homes on the market. So more supply, and the demand is a little bit lower or seems low compared to the supply. So you can get out there, you can actually get a great deal in this market. Now, when we look at the active number of listings, these rows year over year, they're up quite a bit in King County. 2024 outpacing 2023. This is that 37% number. And even July is up a little bit over June. So we are really seeing the peak, I think, for the year in terms of number of active listings. Again, a great reason for a buyer to get in the market and get a good deal. Now let's go to our next chart here. When we look at the number of new listings in King County, over the past 5 years, the number of new listings for residential and condo, we are right in the middle of the pack for the past 5 years. So we don't see as many new listings as we saw in 2021 or 2020. If you remember, those were the height of the pandemic. We saw new listings coming on that were definitely bringing us a lot of buyers as well because the interest rate was so low. We're actually second to the bottom here for 2024, but still up over last year, 2023. Okay, number of new listings as opposed to 2023, we are up quite a bit, but we're lower than we were in June and May, both of those, and really even in April. So the number of listings is coming down. Like I mentioned, we might be at the peak of the number of current active listings on the market, but in terms of what's coming to the market, we've already hit that peak, it seems, for the year 2024. Moving on to the number of pending listings or listings that have gone under contract for King County specifically in the past 5 years, we're close to the bottom. The number of pending listings is lower than 2021 and 22. We're slightly above 2023, but we are towards the bottom. So the number of buyers out there going under contract pales in comparison to 2020, 2021, and 2022, just slightly up over 2023. Now, when we compare July to June, May, April, and even March, we're lower. So we don't see as many homes going pending. Now, this is probably closely related to the interest rate. So now that we're seeing the interest rate come down at the time of this filming, we will likely see the number of pending listings start to go up. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see in August that the number of pending listings is higher than it was in July. That would not be a surprise to me if we continue to see the interest rate stay as low as it is or continue to go down. Let's talk about the number of sold listings. In the past 5 years, we are literally, again, right next to the bottom, right next to 2023. There's not many being sold. 2022 is slightly above where we are this year, and 2020 and 2021 are way above. Lots more sales, lower interest rate. Now, when we compare it to 2023, yes, we're slightly higher. The number of sold listings, the listings that have closed, has come up slightly over June. So a little bit more closing, but it is lower than May. It's slightly higher than what we saw in April. So a little bit more happening, but that's closings. And keep in mind that closings are typically 30 days from the time that the home goes into contract. And so a lot of those homes may have been going into contract in actually June and then closing in July. Okay, we're down to our last two graphs. Now, I want to know, before we get to the final graph, do you think the median price today in 2024, July, was higher or lower than in 2020 during the height of the pandemic? Put your guess in the comments below right now, and it'll be the last thing I reveal to you. Okay, months of inventory. We talk about this each month. This is basically means if we stopped bringing homes onto the market today, how long would it take to sell everything that's currently listed? Right now in 2024, it's 1.9 months, almost 2 months of inventory. This is actually the highest it's been of every other year for the past 5 years. So this means that the market is moving slower than it has for the past 5 years. We're not seeing the homes that are listed getting taken off the market as quickly. Now, when we compare it to July of 2023, we are quite a bit higher. It's taking longer, but this is not abnormal because we saw this same trend in June of 2024. It was higher, as well as May. All of these have been higher than in 2023. The one that was lower was actually in April. So our spring market of 2024 was going quicker, moving faster than it was in 2023. But right now it has slowed down. There's not a lot moving. So if you put your guess in, here's where you're gonna figure it out. The median sales price for the past 5 years is the highest it's been in 2024. Now, the only other time that this price was surpassed was 2022, but it looks like in April, between March and April. Now, this is higher than it was in all of the past 5 years. This is that number that's right around 880,000 in King County. So we are still seeing the prices go up. The median is higher than it was. It's definitely up from July 2023 when it was 805. Now it's at 880, and it's up slightly, just 5,000 more than in June 2024 when we saw it at 875. So we are seeing the market hold pretty consistently and go up just slightly month over month, but it's definitely going up year over year. So just because the market is slower does not necessarily mean that the median price is going down. That's really important to keep in mind when you're buying and when you're selling. So for sellers, there is still a good chance right now to sell your home for top dollar, but you have to be careful because you have a ton of competition out there. So you have to make sure the pricing, the presentation, and the marketing is all on point. And for you buyers, now could be a very sweet spot to get into the market and negotiate a really sweet deal, especially before other buyers jump in because we see the interest rate going down. I'm Brendan Clowes. I'm your favorite Seattle area realtor. If you don't know anything about me, I left Microsoft years ago to help people start investing in real estate, work with them one-on-one, and hopefully be a big impact to their lives. I hope that you like this video. If you want to share it with someone else, that would mean the world to me. And of course, if you found any of the information useful today, please hit that like button and also please subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.